Hello everybody, it's Mr. Q again. What's up? I hope you guys are staying safe and having fun. Today we will continue Travel Series Part 7. This is Episode 2, The Arrival. Right? You have arrived at the Arrival Airport, and we're going to finish talking about what you can expect at the Arrival Airport. So, please take some notes as you learn about 10 things about the Arrival Destination Airport and what to expect there. For our purposes, we will assume that at this particular airport, you have already gone to the baggage claim and claimed your baggage. And you may or may not have used your baggage claim ticket. Now, you will be on your way to Customs and Immigration. Now, the Arrival Customs and Immigration checkpoint is a little bit different than the Departure Immigration and Customs checkpoint. The departure checkpoint wants to verify that you have not overstayed how long you were supposed to be there. They want to make sure that you did not get arrested or something like that. Now, they don't really ask you very many questions, and as long as those two issues are okay, generally you're cleared to go without any problems. Now, the Arrival Customs is a little bit more stressful. Yes, you still need your same items. You still need your passport and visa. Visa's in your passport, right? And you will also need to make sure that you have your arrival and departure information available. So yes, you've arrived in the country and they want that information, but they also want your departure information. They want to know when you're leaving and how you're leaving. Well, because maybe you're going on a big trip and maybe you're not flying back immediately to where you came from. You might be going to another country. So maybe you won't even take another plane to go to that country. Maybe you'll be taking a train or a bus or something. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you verify with them how and when you're leaving, and hopefully that will be before your visa expires. So they will expect to see that information, and they will also need you to be prepared to talk about where you plan to stay during your trip. So that could be a hotel, it could be your friend's house. It doesn't matter so much where you're staying, but it's best if you have some sort of record, like a booking.com or something like that, receipt showing where you're going to be staying. It's also good if you have some sort of ticket for your departure also. And they may also ask you about your bank account to make sure that you have plenty of money for your trip to their country. Whatever you do, guys, stay calm. Sometimes the immigration people can be a little mean, but you need to be nice to them and stay calm, because ultimately they have the last say on whether or not you are allowed in the country. So if you aren't nice to the immigration person, there's a chance that even though everything else is cool, they might not let you in, and they might kick you back and make you leave the country. So stay calm, have your information available and ready, and be nice to them. Be ready to talk about these issues, and make sure you get in the right line. There might be many lines for people with electronic e-channel type of privileges. They might have a line for national citizens and for foreign citizens, and they may have a line for the machines. Remember I told you that many larger international airports have machines that you can use to go through customs with, so you can go through those. Watch which line you're supposed to be in. Make sure you go to the correct immigration officer. Stay calm, give them the information they need, show them your documentation. It might even be helpful if you have printed documentation, especially if it's a smaller country, because sometimes, you know, they like to see paperwork. Always have, you know, an extra photo, passport photo, in case they need it, in case you're getting a visa on arrival. Remember? Sometimes you'll have a visa before you go. Sometimes you'll get a visa when you get there. Sometimes they'll just stamp you through. So just be prepared. Know which of those ways to go through customs are going to be available to you, and everything will be okay as long as you stay calm and you haven't broken any laws. Usually, while in flight, the flight attendants will come around and give you the declaration pages that you will need to fill out for immigration, in addition to the health certifications that you will need to fill out for immigration. So it's a good idea to fill out both of these while you're sitting around doing nothing on the plane, instead of waiting until you're in line. If you can use the immigration machines, or if you can use the e-channel, you should. The lines are usually shorter than having to wait and talk to an immigration person in person.
Before granting you entry to the United States, we have a few simple questions. It's just a formality.
Okay.
I'm actually Irish myself.
False.
No, I hadn't started.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Question 1. The United States is governed by two major parties. Can you name them?
The gun lobby and big tobacco.
What is the name of America's national holiday?
Black Friday.
In what state is the city of Chicago?
State of violence.
What is America's most dominant race?
The 100-meter butterfly.
Quick fire round. Finish these sentences. America is the greatest something in the world.
Weapons exporter.
Martin Luther King had a...
Tough time getting equal rights.
Finally, the United States was founded in...
Dubious circumstances surrounding land claims from indigenous people.
Welcome to America.
Alright.
Customs also doesn't like people taking pictures. So you might want to refrain. You might not want to take photographs while talking to the immigration people, or even standing in line for immigration. So keep that in mind, because I know a lot of you might like to take pictures and selfies and, oh, here I am in customs line, but that might not be something that they approve of. So don't do it. Just do it either before you get to customs or after you leave customs. Don't do it while you're waiting for customs, because you don't want there to be any reason for them to say no to you, right? So just be normal, stay calm, don't worry, and most likely everything will be fine. Woohoo! You made it through customs! You are officially in the country now! Alright, congratulations! Good job! There's only one more thing that you have to do, assuming that you already went to baggage claim before customs, and that is to go through declarations. Most normal tourists don't need to declare anything. No, the only time you really need to declare anything is if you have a lot of cash on you, like a lot, like $10,000 or more. You'll probably need to go to declarations for that. If you have a lot of items that you want to resell, then you'll need to go through declarations with that. And sometimes, if you have an unopened but expensive item, they might want you to go through declarations as well. It's not that big of a deal. if it's one thing and it fits in your bag nicely, it's probably not an issue. Don't even worry about it. But if it's something that they can see and notice, they're probably going to want you to go through declarations. Why go through declarations? Because they get to charge you tax on those items, which means you have to pay them money to bring that into their country. So yeah, you take in too much money, you have to pay taxes on that. You bring in a bunch of things that you want to sell, yes, you have to pay taxes on that. So they want to make sure that they get their money out of you as much as they can, right? So if you're just a normal tourist, try not to take too many of the same item. And I'm not talking about clothes that you have already worn, but like brand new clothes, yeah, that could be an issue. But try not to bring too many things that look like you might try to be selling that in their country, right? And there's no need to travel with that amount of money, because you can always, almost always, there's an ATM at the airport, which is what we'll talk about next. What is at the airport that you can use and that you don't need to bring with you. So you've made it through all the security checkpoints, including declarations, and now you're in the airport. You're in the part of the airport where anybody can go. You are officially in the country and are officially on vacation. So there's a couple of final things that you need to do probably at the airport. The first of which, if you haven't already used the restroom, you might want to use it now because you don't know how long it's going to take you to get to wherever it is you're going next. You're probably going to your hotel next, but sometimes the airport is very far away from the city, from the main city, and from probably where you're going to stay. So it might be a long trip to get to their hotel. So feel free, use the restroom before you leave. Also, you're probably going to need some cash, especially in smaller countries. A lot of times shops don't take credit cards, they take cash. So you'll need to get some cash from the ATM. Just look at the symbols on the ATM to see if they accept your particular debit or credit card. You know, look for Visa or MasterCard, or if you're from China, you could look for the UnionPay sign, right? Just whatever country you're from and whatever your card symbol says, look for it, and hopefully that ATM will work to get you some cash. Secondly, you need to think about a SIM card, right? You have a SIM card for your phone for your home country, and maybe you have a plan from your home country that allows you data or calling privileges in the new country. And if you do, that's great, fine, no problem. But many of you, like me, don't. Our plans, our SIM cards are only good in the country that SIM card came from. So when you get to this new country, oftentimes in the airport, there will be a little booth or little office that you can go to get a temporary SIM card for that country, like for a week or two or something. And usually they're not that expensive, but it's very helpful to have that so that you have internet without having to worry about Wi-Fi, so that your GPS will work properly and so that you can make a phone call if you need to. Especially if you need to get directions to your hotel, right? So feel free to use the airport Wi-Fi before you leave to download any maps and directions to your hotel. But feel free to get that SIM card, and that way you'll be mobile and your phone can be used in that country, anywhere in that country, not just where there's Wi-Fi. And the last thing you'll need to worry about is how are you getting to your hotel? There might be many ways to get there. There could be a metro, there could be a train, there could be a bus, a taxi, a tuk-tuk, right? There's many ways to get to your hotel, and hopefully you've decided before you got there how you're going to do it. But occasionally, you know, You can't figure that out until you get there and you get a feel for what's being provided to you. What I always recommend, every time I go to a new airport, I go to the airport information desk. They oftentimes have free maps of your current city and even the country sometimes for free. They also will have good advice about what is the best way to get to your hotel. Because if you ask a taxi guy what's the best way to get to the hotel, he's not going to tell you to take a train, right? He's going to say, hey, get in my taxi, I'll take you. But the airport information desk will say, you know what, there's a train, take that. Or, you know what, there's no transportation from here to their hotel, you might want to take a taxi or a tuk-tuk. They'll be honest with you and tell you what the best way to get there is. They can also give you some interesting things that you might not have discovered before you got there on what to do in that city. So it's always nice to talk to those people, get a map, and see what they recommend, and then you'll be on your way. All right, congratulations for your arrival. So let's summarize what we've talked about today. Today we've talked about going through customs. Stay calm, be nice. Have your passport, your visa, your travel documentation, your arrival and departure information. Have a passport photo. If you have the printed paperwork, have that available. You know, just have everything that you need available to show them that you are a tourist and you will be leaving soon, and you won't have any problems going through immigration. Then you'll go to declarations. You can pretty much skip that. You know, there'll be a line that if you have nothing to declare, just go over here. No problem, that's okay. Most people are normal, they don't need to declare anything. But if you have too much money, if you have too many things, if it looks like you're going to be selling stuff, go declare it. If you don't declare it, that can cause you problems later. So take care of that. Use the restroom before you leave, and get some cash, some local currency before you leave the airport. The exchanges outside the airport can be very high, so I recommend doing it at the airport. Get a SIM card as well to make using your phone easier inside that new country. And like I said, I always recommend going to the airport information desk. Get a free map. You see what they recommend is the best way to get to your hotel, and maybe some other interesting things to see in their city. And then take your transportation. How do you want to get to your hotel? You're going to take that cheap tuk-tuk? You take a taxi where there's air conditioning? Or is there a train that takes you there? How are you going to get there? All right, today's homework. I want you to think about how much cash you might need in that country. You already have a budget, right? So how much cash do you think you're going to need in relation to the budget that you created at the beginning of this travel series? And I want you to think about, do you need a SIM card? I want you to think about how you decided to get, how do you think you might get to your hotel, right? Do some research. Are you in a city that has a metro that goes from the airport to the city? Most big cities have something like that around the world. So you can have an idea before you even get there what's available to you. So I want you guys to write down 5 to 10 things about how much money you might need, about whether or not you need a SIM card, and what kind of transportation you're going to use to get to the hotel. All right, write that down, and when you're done, that's right, share it with your classmates. All right, guys, that's it for me today. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.